Hello, in this video I'm going to explain how to use a compass to take a bearing from a map and then how you can use that bearing to walk. So I'm going to use a Silva Ranger compass. Just talk about the features of the compass first of all. So first of all, the bottom of the compass is called the base plate. At the top of the base plate is the arrow. That arrow there is called the direction of travel arrow. And then along the edge there's a few little scales. So across the top there's a centimetre scale. Across this side there's a scale for a 1 to 25,000 map where each division is equal to 100 metres or 4 millimetres on the map. And then across this edge there's another scale for a 1 to 50,000 map, and again each division on that scale represents 100 metres on the ground or 2 millimetres on the map. Magnifying glass, which you can use just to see details on the map a little bit more clearly. And then you've got the compass housing. The compass housing will twist around whilst keeping the base plate still. Inside the compass housing, around the edge, is a scale showing degrees, and that's what the bearing will be. So you've got north at 0 degrees, east at 90 degrees, south at 180 degrees and west at 270 degrees. On the edge of that scale is a mark in line with the direction of travel arrow, and that mark is where you will read the bearing from once you have taken the bearing. Inside the compass housing there are these parallel lines which are called the Orienting Lines, and there's a large red needle pointing towards north, and then there's fluid inside the compass and a needle which is magnetized, and the red part of the needle points to magnetic north and the white part of the needle points to magnetic south. Currently, certainly in southwest England, magnetic north lies at almost the same place as grid north measured from the map. So that's really helpful. But magnetic north does move, and so you do need to check the legend on the map just to check where magnetic north actually is in a given year. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can record a bearing from the map. And so let's say that you were at the junction just here near Manor Farm, and that you were wanting to take this bridle path that heads in a sort of northwest direction. But you want to just check that the path is going in the right direction, so you want to take a bearing. Now, as I said before, north, which is at the top of the map, is given a value of 0 degrees, east is given a value of 90 degrees, south 180 and west 270 degrees. So if we just look at this path here, we can see it starts at this point heading in an almost westerly direction. So we'd expect the bearing to be about 270 degrees or so. So in order to take the bearing, what we do is we place our compass onto the map, and we place the compass so that the direction of travel arrow just there is pointing in the direction that we want to go. And you'll see that there's a line engraved in the compass there, which I'm just going to line up along that part of the path. Some people use the edge of the compass but if the edge does get chipped in general use, you know that that line there is going to be perfectly straight. So that's the direction that I want to travel. So next what I do is I move the compass housing so that the orienting lines inside the compass housing match up with the grid lines, and you can see there's a blue grid line just there on the map. So the orienting lines go parallel to the grid lines. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move my compass just a little bit so that I've got an orienting line here which is right on top of the grid line, so that I can measure that quite precisely to get the orienting lines perfectly aligned with the grid lines. And that direction travel arrow is still pointing where I want it to go. Make sure that north on the compass is pointing to north on the map, to the top of the map. And I can then read the bearing right there on the compass, and the bearing for this is about 275 degrees. Each little mark in the compass housing represents 2 degrees. Okay, so we've got west there, so it's about 174 actually, so 274 degrees there on the compass. So that's my bearing. That's the direction that I would start when walking that leg from near Manor Farm up the bridle path towards the top of Lansdowne. Now, if I was standing at that point there, then what I would do is I would then put my compass in my hand, and I would then have the direction of travel arrow pointing in front of me. And what I would then do is I would then move my body round until the north needle, the magnetic needle, points to north on the compass. So the magnetic needle points to north on the compass. Just like that. And then the direction that I want to walk in is there. So I follow the direction of travel arrow to find where I want to go. I don't need to sort of head north unless I wanted to head north. The direction of travel arrow points to where I want to go. Now, when you're using that and you've found the direction you want to go, don't walk with the compass in front of you looking at the compass. Before you start walking, just look in that direction to find a feature, a stationary feature that you can aim for, walk to that point, and then use your compass to find something else on that bearing, and keep doing that until you reach your destination. In really bad visibility, one tip is that if you're in a group, you could send one of your group ahead and make sure that they are on the bearing. Tell them to move left a bit, right a bit, and then stay still. You then walk to that person and then send somebody else ahead. And so you can then keep walking in a straight line using that technique. Just going to show a brief clip of doing exactly this out in the field on Dartmoor, walking from Ockerton Court towards Great Niset. We're now off tracks, so I'll take a bearing. So we're here at Ockerton Court, heading for Great Niset. So direction of travel arrow going from where I am to where I want to be. Twisting the compass housing round until the orienting lines point to north on the map, and we're getting a bearing of about 231 degrees. Negligible difference between grid bearings and magnetic bearings, so if I now put my compass in my hand, turn myself round until the north needle is pointing to north, and look ahead, and you can see Great Knee set straight over there.